Welcome into the Alabama Football Report. We will be live for Alabama against Michigan in the CFP semifinal at the Rose Bowl. Do not miss out. We'll have some fun for you guys. Hit that sub button right now. We're going to break down the latest on the Alabama football team, more on the recruiting transfer portal focus since we did our preview yesterday. Make sure to check that out. It's available on the channel. It'll link to the comments, the description as well. We'll begin with recruiting as five-star wide receiver commit Ryan Williams, who will not sign until the January signing period, the more normal signing day period. Well, he was wearing Auburn gear during a workout, and it gone exactly the way you would think it would go on the different message boards and fandoms and social media, etc. Auburn fans, he's clearly flipping. Not a doubt in my mind. He's gone. He's a Tiger, baby. Alabama fans think he's trolling, trying to get more NIL stuff, whatever. You know how it tends to go because these are high school kids who are making decisions. What's interesting here, this is not the first notable wide receiver commit who has done this year. One of the Texas Tech commits was wearing A&M gloves during a game, signed with Texas Tech. I forget his first name, Busey, the five-star A&M commit, wore Texas gloves in the Texas championship game. He's still committed to A&M. Is it trolling? Is it not? I don't know. I kind of don't like it because I don't think that's a good message to send, but whatever. Free workout gear, I guess, is free workout gear in the end. It would be kind of curious if Auburn went after another wide receiver. They already have 4 top 250 wide receivers in their class. It's a really good class. Cam Coleman's the 5-star. Perry Thompson, they already flipped from Alabama. Malcolm Simmons and Bryce Cain are both right next to each other as well. It'd still be a significant get for the Auburn Tigers, but you'd also pretty much be guaranteeing one of those 4 guys transfers out after a year. There's no way all 5 guys stick around. That's not really how the modern day college football environment works. Williams is a 5-star commit. He reclassified into the class of 2024. He's going to enroll a year early. Number 12 overall, the number 2 player from the state of Alabama. He said he's committed to Bama. He has visited Auburn in the past. And Auburn flipping Williams, make no mistake, would hurt. It'd be kind of a weird balancing sheet for their recruiting. So it's kind of like what I would do in NCAA 14. I just recruit all the athletes. It's fun. And then it turns out half of them play receiver, and I would literally have like 15 receivers in my class and too many commits. I got to cut guys randomly. I always felt bad about that, but math is math. Williams did visit Auburn on December 17th. He'll take some more visits as well. Can't say I blame him because free visits are free visits. I'd go too if I were remotely good enough to be able to do that. So what do you think? Is Ryan Williams trolling a little bit? Trolling Auburn/Alabama, or is he going to flip to Auburn? It's the pinned comment on today's video. Type in T for trolling, F for flipping. Let's check in on the latest now on Evan Stewart. The Texas A&M transfer was one of the first guys linked to go into the portal and then didn't for a while, is now in there at the moment. The latest update is the 2 teams that were first connected the most, Texas or Auburn, Texas and Alabama, will not likely land wide receiver Evan Stewart. Here's what Pete Nakos, I've only seen it written, by the way, from On3 said, I should say, on a show. I think the best player on the board is probably Evan Stewart. I've heard Texas and Alabama rumored, and I've also been told by sources that those are not really viable options. In recent days, I've heard Florida State thrown out there. I've heard Ole Miss. I've heard Tennessee. I've heard USC. I've heard Oregon. I think we'll get a better feel in the days to come, but I will tell you right now, I don't think he lands at Texas or Alabama. Stewart's numbers have not been that great the past 2 years. He left the team earlier than he needed to because he wasn't going to play in the final games and he was going to hop in the portal. Allegedly, his goal was to get to a spot that can develop him and jump to the NFL. So several of those teams I do think make some sense. Maybe FSU could push the, you can be our Keon Coleman this year. Jump from not many people talked about him to he's going to be a first-round lock basically after an awesome year for FSU, who has their own quarterback uncertainty at the moment. So we'll see where Evan Stewart lands. doesn't sound like it'll be Alabama, which would also tie into if you get Ryan Williams, you probably don't need Evan Stewart with what you have on your roster. Coming up next, we have the latest on Domani Jackson, a player Alabama is in the mix for. But first, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. The link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. It's daily fantasy sports made simple. You can do NFL, you can do college football, NBA. I'm sticking with just my Rose Bowl prize picks. Jalen Milroe more than passing yards. Roman Wilson more than receiving yards. I think we'll get a big chunk play against Bama, unfortunately. And Jalen Milroe more than rushing yards as well. Because if Bama's going to win, it's going to be on the shoulders of Milroe. Again, folks, that link and promo code are going to be in the comment section and the description of today's video. So go check it out. prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, back to Domani Jackson. Two more schools, in addition to the heavily linked Alabama and Michigan, are showing interest in pursuing the former five-star cornerback who was, of course, at USC. Certainly sounds like Alabama and Michigan are the two frontrunners there. They were both heavily involved in the initial recruitment of Domani Jackson. Both teams could use a corner. They'll probably lose some guys to the portal. Jackson's close with Michigan's potential future first-round pick, Will Johnson. You'll see plenty of him during the Rose Bowl. Alabama's probably going to lose their top two starters. The cornerback depth is not ideal anyway. The two other schools now linked, Texas and Texas A&M. Seems significant. I would be a bit surprised if A&M got him, but Texas has been the market for several big-name transfers in recent years. They got Trey Moore. That makes sense. Jackson was the five-star recruit in 2022. His numbers were not that great for the Trojans. I would say, at least in part, hey, that's, kind of how it works out in the end of things aren't great when your entire defense sucks. But this former five-star, Bama clearly has interest there. I think the fair middle ground is the national champion gets him, unless I guess it's Washington. Of course, slightly kidding on that front. I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan, USC, Bama plays, and if the team that he was going to go to wins, he commits immediately. That would kind of make some sense. Bama could use the help. They are not in great shape at corner. They're going to lose 4 out of 5 starting DBs since I'm kind of convinced Terrion Arnold's going to jump to the NFL. It's tough to replace so much experience and talent with more inexperience. It'd be really nice if you got a bridge. And the plan for Jackson is 1 year and off to the NFL. That'd be the ideal. He plays so good wherever he's at for the big name program, he becomes a first or second round pick or whatever. We'll see if that happens. So prediction time. Who gets Domani Jackson? B for Bama, M for Michigan, TEX for Texas, or just A&M for Texas A&M. Over to one of the weirder stories I think we've done on this show. So Nyquil Bertrand, or Naquil probably makes more sense. Naquil Bertrand, excuse me, has said on social media, said this on Christmas Eve, that Alabama has offered him. He is the former Texas A&M recruit last year, who was in the transfer portal. There's a lot of weird stuff going on here. So background, then we'll get into, this might not be true. I'm not sure. Bertrand was a 3-star recruit, number 792 overall, the number 55 ranked offensive tackle. Number 19 for the state of Pennsylvania. He's committed to A&M. Let me load this to make sure I got it right. But he committed to A&M in August of 2022. He signs with them in the early signing day period. But he did not enroll until August. So he wasn't really part of the team this year. He did not play. He was just kind of around. He almost borderline reclassified to a certain extent. He entered the transfer portal about a week ago and says South Florida and Bama have offered him, which would be really interesting because he wasn't offered by Bama coming out of high school. A&M did, Auburn did, Kentucky, Syracuse, and Colorado were among the more notable offers for him. He did not play at all for A&M this past year. So there's nothing that would have been done that would have said, Bama, oh, we have to change our mind on making the offer. And nobody has reported this offer. None of these sites, despite it being out there on social media, have said, yes, Bama offered him. It's strangely quiet on the message board side. And it makes me wonder if there was some miscommunication, let's put it that way. Because he tagged Eric Wolford, the O-line coach, in the tweet. So it's all very interesting from that perspective. And we'll see if he commits or not. But I did want to mention it, but something is off here. So maybe we'll find out more after the whole CFP semifinals and final stuff. But something's not passing the making full sense test. But Bama does need some offensive line help, I think. Do you agree with me? Why for yes and for no? Sound off in the comments section.